chosen one. Why does your body feel like it's betraying you when your spirit knows you're meant for more? Why are you exhausted every morning, yet restless every night, as if something inside you is trying to wake up? Why do you catch glimpses of yourself in the mirror and feel like a stranger is staring back, not because you look older, but because you sense something shifting beneath the surface? Stop right there. What I'm about to tell you will shatter everything you thought you knew about what's happening to your physical body right now. Something is happening inside your body at this very moment, not by chance, not by age, but by divine design. While you've been wondering if you're falling apart, God has been putting you back together. While you've been counting your limitations, heaven has been rewiring your very cells for an assignment so significant that your human frame needed supernatural preparation. You may feel tired, yet something in you feels strangely alive again, doesn't it? That's not your imagination. That's not wishful thinking. That's the sound of eternity calling your mortal body back to its original frequency. Before we dive deeper into this mystery, I want to pause and thank every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and sow that seed of faith. Now listen carefully. Isaiah 40:31 declares something that will rock your understanding. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. And they shall walk and not faint. Renew. Not restore to what was. Renew to what's coming. Think of your body as an old radio that's been crackling with static for years. You thought the problem was the radio itself. But what if I told you that heaven has been adjusting the frequency dial, and you're finally being retuned to pick up a signal from another realm? That ache you feel isn't decay, it's recalibration. That restlessness isn't age, it's awakening. That strange energy pulsing through you isn't anxiety, it's anticipation. Your body knows something your mind hasn't figured out yet. God is rewiring your very DNA for what's coming next. And what's coming will require a vessel that operates beyond natural limitations. If you can feel something stirring already, if your spirit is recognizing truth even as your mind questions it, type "I receive" in the comments right now. Don't think about it. Just respond to what's happening in your chest this very second. Because chosen one, you're about to discover why your body has been feeling so strange lately, and why that's the best news you've heard in decades. Why does your arthritis suddenly feel lighter on Tuesday mornings when nothing in your routine has changed? Why do you wake up at 5:47 a.m. with energy you haven't felt in 20 years, yet your doctor says your blood work is exactly the same? Why are strangers on the subway looking at you differently, not with pity for your age, but with curiosity about your glow? Dear chosen one, what's happening to you cannot be found in any medical journal. What's stirring in your cells cannot be measured by any machine. What's shifting in your very bones cannot be explained by science, because science can only observe the natural world. And what's occurring in your body right now is supernatural intervention. Listen to me carefully. God is rewiring you, not your mind, not your circumstances, your actual physical body, at the cellular level, at the DNA level, at frequencies so deep that modern medicine doesn't even have instruments to detect them. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange lightness when you climb the stairs to your apartment, that unexpected clarity when you look in the bathroom mirror at 6 a.m., that sudden peace that settles over your chest when you're sitting in your favorite chair, watching the morning news. You've been telling yourself it's temporary. You've been waiting for it to fade. But what if I told you it's not going anywhere? What if this is just the beginning? This is not denial of age. This is divine renewal. For 60, 70, 80 years, you've been living under the tyranny of time. The world convinced you that your body was a ticking clock, counting down to failure. But Ecclesiastes 3:11 declares something revolutionary. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Beautiful, not broken, not expired, beautiful. And your time, your real time, is now. Romans 12:2 commands us, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." But did you know the Greek word for renewing is anakainosis, which doesn't just mean mental change. It means complete cellular regeneration, physical transformation, biological renovation at the most fundamental level. Your body has been receiving new instructions, divine firmware updates, heavenly recalibration. While you sleep, while you pray, while you simply breathe, God has been speaking to your very molecules in a language your conscious mind cannot comprehend, but your spirit recognizes instantly. That warmth you feel spreading through your chest when you worship, that's not emotion. That's healing frequency. That's strength returning to your hands when you hold your grandchildren. That's not adrenaline. That's divine electricity. That brightness returning to your eyes when you look at old photographs, that's not nostalgia. That's prophecy, a glimpse of who you're becoming. But here's what will shock you to your core. This isn't happening randomly. This isn't happening accidentally. God is preparing your physical vessel for an assignment so significant that your current body couldn't handle it. Something is coming that will require supernatural strength, supernatural endurance, supernatural radiance. Think about Moses, at 80 years old, 80. When most men were preparing for their deathbed, God called him to lead 2 million people out of slavery. But look what happened to Moses during those 40 years in the wilderness. Deuteronomy 34:7 tells us his eye was undimmed and his vigor unabated. At 120 years old, Moses had the physical strength of a man half his age. Why? Because God rewired his body for his calling. Think about Caleb. At 85 years old, while his peers were sitting in rocking chairs, Caleb was conquering mountains. Joshua 14:11 records his declaration, "I am still as strong today as I was in the day Moses sent me." Same strength, same energy, same fire. Because heaven had recalibrated his cells for conquest. You think your best days are behind you. You think your body is betraying you. You think age is your master. Stop believing the enemy's propaganda. Your body isn't failing, it's being upgraded. If you've felt your body shifting in ways you can't explain, if doctors have shrugged their shoulders at your sudden improvements, if family members have asked what you've been taking, if strangers have commented on your energy, stay with me, because this word is for you. There are 3 unmistakable signs that prove your body is being rewired by God. 3 physical manifestations that confirm heaven is intervening in your biology. And when I reveal these signs in just a few moments, you're going to understand why you've been feeling so different lately. But first, you need to know the enemy's greatest fear about what's happening to you right now. Dear chosen one, let me speak directly to your heart about something you've been carrying in silence. You wake up at 4 a.m. again, staring at the ceiling, feeling like your body is a house where all the lights are flickering. Your knees remind you they exist with every step. Your memory plays hide and seek with names you've known for decades. You catch yourself moving slower, speaking softer, taking up less space in rooms where you once commanded attention. And in the darkest corners of your mind, a whisper grows louder each day. Am I becoming irrelevant? Am I becoming a burden? Is this what dying feels like, not all at once, but piece by piece, day by day? You've been told this is natural, normal, expected. They hand you pills for the pain, glasses for the vision, and platitudes for the spirit. You're getting older, they say, as if that explains why the person you see in the mirror feels like a stranger wearing your face. But what if every single thing you've been told about aging is a lie from the pit of hell itself? What if I told you that those aching joints aren't signs of your body breaking down but breaking through? What if those restless nights aren't your mind failing but your spirit receiving downloads from heaven that your natural brain can't yet process? What if that exhaustion you feel isn't decay, but the deep fatigue that comes from being spiritually rewired at the cellular level. Listen to me very carefully. You are not falling apart. You are being taken apart and put back together by the master craftsman himself. Ecclesiastes 3:11 declares with divine authority, "He has made everything beautiful in its time, not in man's time, not according to society's timeline of decline, in his time." And beloved, this is your time of supernatural reconstruction. Think of yourself as an antique grandfather clock that's been keeping time for decades. The world looks at you and sees worn gears, a fading face, hands that move a little slower. They assume you're winding down, losing accuracy, becoming obsolete. But what they don't see is the master watchmaker who has been carefully taking you apart, cleaning every mechanism, replacing what was corroded, recalibrating your inner workings for perfect divine timing. That clicking sound they hear isn't you breaking, it's you being reset. Every ache in your bones is heaven adjusting your spiritual frequency. Every moment of confusion is your mind being cleared of decades of world system programming. Every night of tossing and turning is your soul wrestling with angels, receiving instructions for what's coming next. You thought your body was your enemy, didn't you? You thought it was betraying you after all these years of faithful service. But your body has been the most loyal vessel, carrying you through every storm, surviving every attack, enduring every pressure the enemy threw at you. And now, just when the world wants to write you off, God is saying, "Not yet, we're just getting started." The fatigue you feel isn't weakness, it's the same exhaustion a caterpillar experiences in the cocoon. The discomfort isn't deterioration, it's transformation. The confusion isn't mental decline, it's divine reorganization. Your body knows something your mind hasn't figured out yet. It's preparing for an assignment so significant that your human frame needs supernatural modification to carry it. The God who formed you in your mother's womb is reforming you in the womb of his purpose. But here's what breaks my heart. While heaven is upgrading your entire being, you've been apologizing for taking up space. While the Almighty is installing new spiritual software in your system, you've been believing the lie that your best days are behind you. While God is preparing to launch you into your most important chapter, you've been writing your own obituary. Stop it, right now. Stop agreeing with the voice of limitation and start listening to the voice of your Creator. You are not being undone, dear one. You are being rebuilt. Not for the retirement home, but for the throne room. Not for the rocking chair, but for the battlefield. Not to fade quietly into the background, but to blaze magnificently in the foreground of God's end-time purposes. Every gray hair is a crown of wisdom. Every line on your face is a map of faithfulness. Every scar is a testimony that you survived what was meant to destroy you. And every ache you feel right now is proof that something powerful is being birthed in your mortal frame. The enemy has been lying to you about your body because he knows what God is preparing to do through it. He's terrified of a generation that has nothing left to lose and everything eternal to gain. He fears believers who have walked long enough with God to know his faithfulness, fought enough battles to recognize his voice, and suffered enough loss to understand what really matters. This is why your body feels electric with possibility one moment and heavy with fatigue the next. You're caught between two worlds, the natural realm that says you're declining and the spiritual realm that says you're ascending. Your flesh is learning to house glory it was never designed to contain, and the adjustment period feels like spiritual growing pains. But the recalibration is almost complete. The divine download is nearly finished, and when it is, you're going to discover that what you thought was your sunset was actually your sunrise. Right now, I need you to speak these words out loud, wherever you are. God is not finished with me. He is rebuilding me for his glory. I receive his restoration in my body, mind, and spirit. Say it until you feel it. Declare it until you believe it. Prophesy it until it manifests. Because what I'm about to reveal next will shatter every limitation you've accepted about your physical capabilities and show you exactly what God is preparing your reborn body to accomplish in the days ahead. Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. What's happening to you right now isn't some random biological accident. This isn't your body getting older or breaking down. This is divine intervention at the cellular level, and if you don't understand what God is actually doing, you'll miss the most important transformation of your entire life. You see, for decades you've been told that aches and pains are normal, that fatigue is inevitable, that your best days are behind you. But what if I told you that every single symptom you've been experiencing, the restless nights, the strange energy shifts, the inexplicable moments when you feel completely different than you did yesterday, what if all of that is evidence that heaven has begun a complete rewiring of your biological system? God is not just healing your symptoms, dear one. He's not putting a band-aid on your arthritis or giving you a little more energy to get through the day. The Almighty is performing surgical reconstruction on your nervous system, rebuilding your bones from the molecular level, rebalancing your hormones to operate in divine frequency, and yes, even rewriting your memory banks to delete decades of limitation programming. Your cells are hearing a new voice, not the voice of decay that this world has been shouting at you for 70, 80, 90 years. They're hearing the voice of their Creator, speaking the same words He spoke in Genesis. Let there be light, and that light is flooding through every fiber of your being right now. Romans 12:2 declares something that will shatter your understanding. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But here's what most people miss. That Greek word for transformed is metamorpho. It's where we get the word metamorphosis, like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. This isn't tweaking. This isn't improving. This is complete biological reconstruction. You want to know why your body feels confused lately? Why some days you wake up feeling 20 years younger, and other days you feel every single year you've lived? Because you're in metamorphosis, chosen one. And metamorphosis is messy. The caterpillar literally dissolves into liquid before it becomes the butterfly. You're not falling apart. You're being dissolved and reformed. But here's where it gets shocking. Here's where everything changes. Faith is not just belief. Faith is a biological activator. Every time you declare, "I believe God is healing me," your DNA receives that as an instruction. Every time you speak life over your body, your cells reorganize around that declaration. Every time you reject the verdict of age and limitation, your nervous system rewrites its responses. Science calls it the placebo effect. God calls it faith in action. You think I'm speaking metaphorically? Listen to what Jesus said in Mark 11:23. Whoever says to this mountain, "Go, throw yourself into the sea," and does not doubt in their heart but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. Your body is the mountain. Your words are the command. Your faith is the power that moves it. This is why your energy levels fluctuate wildly. This is why your pain comes and goes without medical explanation. This is why people keep saying, "You look different," but can't put their finger on why. Your biological systems are learning to respond to a higher authority than gravity, than time, than the laws of aging that have governed this earthly realm. But I need you to understand something crucial, something that will determine whether this transformation completes or aborts. The reason God is restoring your body has nothing to do with vanity. This isn't about looking younger or impressing anyone. Heaven is not interested in your skincare routine. God is rebuilding you because there's a mission coming that will require supernatural stamina. There are assignments ahead that will demand divine energy. There are people who need to see living proof that the God of miracles is still performing miracles. And you, yes, you sitting there wondering if your best days are over, you are about to become that proof. Your renewed strength isn't for your comfort, it's for your calling. Your restored vitality isn't for leisure, it's for labor in God's vineyard. Your regenerated body isn't for retirement, it's for revival. This is why the enemy has been attacking your health so viciously. This is why medical bills have been piling up. This is why you felt like your own body was working against you. Because hell knows what heaven is preparing you for. And they're terrified of a generation that refuses to act their age, refuses to accept limitations, refuses to fade quietly into the background. Moses was 80 when God called him to deliver Israel. Caleb was 85 when he said, "Give me this mountain." Sarah was 90 when she gave birth to promise. Your age isn't your limitation, it's your qualification. But here's what will determine whether you step into this supernatural restoration or miss it entirely. Are you ready to discover the specific mission God is rewiring your body to accomplish? Because what I'm about to reveal will explain every strange thing that's been happening to you and show you exactly why heaven has been preparing your physical frame for something this generation has never witnessed before. Now, beloved, let me tell you about the 3 unmistakable signs that heaven is rewiring your very essence. These aren't symptoms of aging, they're evidence of awakening. And I guarantee, as you hear these words, recognition will flood your spirit like lightning striking water. The first sign, the unexplainable glow. People have been looking at you differently lately, haven't they? They can't quite put their finger on it, but something about you has changed. Your daughter calls and says, "Mom, you sound different. Better somehow." Your neighbor stops you at the mailbox and stares a little too long before saying, "You look radiant today." But here's what's shocking, you're not wearing makeup. You haven't changed your routine. You haven't bought expensive creams or started some miracle diet. Yet there's something emanating from you that others can't ignore and can't explain. This is divine radiation, chosen one. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai, Exodus 34-29 tells us his face was radiant because he had spoken with the Lord. That same glory, that same divine frequency is beginning to emanate from your very being. Your cells are literally vibrating at a higher frequency because heaven has been downloading new instructions into your DNA. Sarah from Tennessee wrote to me last month, "Pastor, I'm 73 years old, and my granddaughter asked me if I was using some kind of filter during our video call. She said I looked like I was glowing. I wasn't using any filter, but something in me knew exactly what she meant." That's not vanity speaking, that's eternity breaking through. The second sign, the holy paradox. Here's where it gets mysterious, and I need you to be honest with yourself right now. You're tired, aren't you? Bone-deep weary some days, like you're carrying invisible weight. Your joints ache. Your back reminds you of every year you've lived. Yet, and here's the paradox that confuses doctors, there's something alive in you that shouldn't be there. You wake up exhausted but find yourself cleaning the entire house. You feel weak but discover strength you didn't know you had. You're hurting but somehow hopeful in ways that defy logic. Your body says, "Slow down," while your spirit says, "Speed up." This isn't contradiction, beloved. This is calibration. 2 Corinthians 12:10 reveals the mystery. When I am weak, then I am strong. Your human frailty is becoming the perfect conductor for divine electricity. God isn't ignoring your pain, He's using it as the very foundation for your supernatural empowerment. Robert from Brooklyn shared this with me. I'm 68, had 2 knee replacements, and some mornings I can barely get out of bed. But yesterday, I found myself dancing in my kitchen while making coffee. Actually dancing. My wife thought I'd lost my mind, but something in me felt more alive than it had in decades. That's not madness. That's the Holy Spirit breathing life into mortal flesh. The third sign, the resurrection of dreams. Now this one might hurt before it heals, so brace yourself. Those dreams you buried 20, 30, 40 years ago. The ones you convinced yourself were foolish, impossible, too late to pursue. They're stirring again, aren't they? You're lying in bed at 3 a.m. and suddenly you're thinking about that book you wanted to write, that ministry you felt called to start, that business idea that seemed so clear before life got in the way, that vision of touching lives, making a difference, leaving a legacy that matters. The world told you to be realistic. Your family said to act your age. Society whispered that your time had passed. But God is reawakening dreams because He's preparing you for assignments that require the kind of wisdom only earned through decades of living. Joel 2:28 declares, "I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your old men will dream dreams, not remember dreams, not regret missed dreams. They will dream dreams, present tense, active, alive." Martha from Phoenix called me in tears last week. I'm 81 years old, and I can't stop thinking about the women's shelter I wanted to open 30 years ago. My children think I'm having a senior moment. But Pastor, this dream feels more real now than it ever did. It's like it's been waiting for me to be ready. That's not delusion. That's divine timing, finally aligning with earthly readiness. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand about these 3 signs. They're not random occurrences. They're not age playing tricks on your mind. They're prophetic indicators that something massive is about to shift in your life. Your body is not betraying you. It is awakening to its original assignment. You see, God designed you with a purpose that transcends the limitations this world tried to impose on you. That glow, people, notice? It's your true identity breaking through the mask of mediocrity you've worn for too long. That strange energy pulsing through your weary bones. It's resurrection power preparing you for works that will outlast your physical frame. Those reawakening dreams, they're divine downloads of your next chapter, the chapter that will define your legacy. Listen to me carefully. Chosen one. If even one of these signs speaks to your spirit, if recognition is flooding your heart right now, don't you dare scroll past this moment. Don't dismiss this as coincidence. Don't let doubt rob you of divine confirmation. You're not losing your mind. You're finding your mission. You're not experiencing random symptoms. You're receiving supernatural signs. You're in perfect alignment with heaven's timeline for your life. But why is this happening now? Why is God rewiring your body at this stage of your journey? The answer will shake you to your core. But here's what's going to shake you to your core. Chosen one. This supernatural rewiring happening in your body right now isn't some cosmic accident. It's not God giving you a participation trophy for surviving this long number. What's taking place in your cells, in your DNA, in the very marrow of your bones has a purpose so profound, so urgent, that heaven itself has been orchestrating this moment for decades. You want to know why you're feeling younger while getting older? Why your spirit is on fire while your birth certificate says you should be slowing down? Because there are prayers, desperate, tear-soaked prayers waiting for your answered presence. Listen to me carefully. Right now, somewhere in Brooklyn, there's a grandmother crying out to God because her grandson is lost to addiction. In Queens, there's a widower who's given up on love, on hope, on everything. In the Bronx, there's a family falling apart, and they don't even know they're waiting for someone like you, someone who's walked through hell and came out carrying heaven's fire. Jeremiah 29:11 isn't just a pretty verse for coffee mugs. It's a battle cry. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. God's restoration of your body isn't for vanity, it's for mission. Every cell He's renewing, every joint He's healing, every spark He's reigniting in your eyes. It's all preparation for assignments that require more than wisdom. They require presence. They require power. You think you're too old to matter? Tell that to Moses, who was 80 when he split the Red Sea. Tell that to Sarah, who was 90 when she birthed nations. Tell that to Anna the prophetess, who was 84 when she recognized the Messiah and proclaimed him to all who were waiting for redemption. But let me tell you about Joseph, because his story is your story. For 13 years, he was hidden, thrown in a pit by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, forgotten in prison. 13 years of wondering if God had abandoned him, if his dreams were just delusions, if his best days were behind him before they ever truly began. Sound familiar? But here's what Joseph didn't know during those dark years in that Egyptian dungeon. Every betrayal was building his character. Every injustice was developing his discernment. Every sleepless night was preparing him for sleepless nights of managing an entire empire. When Pharaoh finally called for him, Joseph didn't just get a job, he got dominion over the known world, from prisoner to prime minister in a single day. Why? Because hidden seasons aren't punishment, they're preparation, and what's been hidden in you for years, decades even, is about to be revealed in power. You've been refined in secret, so you could be revealed in strength. Every tear you cried when no one was watching, heaven was taking notes. Every time you got back up when staying down would have been easier, angels were cheering. Every moment you chose faith over fear, hope over despair, love over bitterness, you were qualifying for an assignment that would require exactly that kind of tested character. This is not about nostalgia, dear one. You are not going back to who you were at 20, 30, or 40. You are going forward to who you were always meant to become. Someone who carries both the fire of youth and the wisdom of experience. Someone who can speak with the authority that only comes from surviving what should have killed you. The enemy wants you to believe your best years are behind you. He whispers that you missed your moment, that your season has passed, that you should just be grateful for what you have and expect nothing more. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Here's the truth that will set you free. You are not declining, you are divinely reversing. While the world counts you out because of your age, heaven is counting on you because of your experience. While society sees wrinkles and assumes weakness, God sees wisdom and declares strength. While your family thinks you should be winding down, the Almighty knows you're just winding up. This physical renewal you're experiencing, this strange energy, this unexpected vitality, this sense that something ancient within you is awakening, it's not random, it's strategic. God is preparing you for battles that will require every year you've lived, every lesson you've learned, every scar you've earned. There are young people drowning in despair who need to hear your voice say, "I've been where you are, and God brought me through." There are marriages falling apart that need to see your example of love that endures. There are dreams dying that need your testimony of hope deferred but never destroyed. The world is waiting for what you carry. Not your youth, they can get that anywhere. Not your perfection, they can see through that in a heartbeat. They're waiting for your authenticity. Your scars turned into strength. Your pain transformed into power. Your mess turned into your message. This is why your body is being renewed. This is why your spirit is being reignited. This is why heaven is downloading fresh purpose into your DNA. Because what's coming next in your life will require everything you are and everything you're becoming. Write in the chat right now, "I am ready for my mission." Not tomorrow when you feel more prepared. Not next week when you figure it all out. Right now, because ready or not, your season of hiddenness is ending and your time of revelation has begun. The question that will determine everything is this: will you step into the calling that's been waiting for you to be ready, or will you let fear convince you that your greatest chapters are already written? Listen to me, chosen one. Can you hear it? That sound beneath your heartbeat? That rhythm pulsing through your veins like ancient drums calling you home? With every breath, heaven is rewriting your body. Say it with me. With every breath, heaven is rewriting your body. You feel it, don't you? That strange electricity coursing through your limbs at 3 a.m. when you should be exhausted, but instead you're wide awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering why your spirit feels more alive than it has in decades. That's not insomnia, beloved. That's installation. God is uploading new software into your human frame while you sleep. With every breath, heaven is rewriting your body. But here's what's breaking my heart right now. You've been interpreting these sensations as symptoms of decline when they're actually signals of divine reconstruction. That joint pain that comes and goes without warning, your bones are being restructured for supernatural weight, the weight of glory you're about to carry. That restlessness in your chest, your heart is being recalibrated to beat in sync with eternity's rhythm. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. Think about the Temple of Solomon. 2 Chronicles tells us it took 7 years to build, and during construction, the sound of hammers and chisels echoed day and night. The workers couldn't see the finished masterpiece through all that noise and chaos. All they witnessed was demolition, reconstruction, dust, and disorder. That's you right now, dear one. Your body is a temple under renovation. The scaffolding is still standing around your life. Doctor visits, medication bottles, moments when you feel every one of your years. But if you look closely, if you really pay attention, glory is already glowing through the cracks. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. Let me ask you something that might cut deep. How many mornings have you woken up and felt like a stranger in your own skin? How many times have you caught yourself in the mirror and thought, that can't be me? You assumed it was age catching up. But what if it's actually eternity breaking through? Romans 8:11 declares, "But if the spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwelleth in you." Quicken. Not slow down. Not wear out. Quicken. That word in the original Greek means to make alive, to vitalize, to energize with supernatural life. Your mortal body, yes, your aging, creaking, sometimes painful mortal body, is being quickened right now by the same spirit that rolled away the stone. With every breath, heaven is rewriting your body. But why now? Why at this season of your life when the world expects you to fade quietly into the background? Because God never wastes a single moment of preparation, and you've been in preparation for 8 decades, 7 decades, 6 decades, however long you've walked this earth. Every trial taught you endurance. Every heartbreak expanded your capacity for compassion. Every closed door redirected you toward this moment. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. Here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand. He's been whispering lies about your physical limitations because he knows what's coming. He knows that when God fully activates what he's been installing in your body, you won't just walk, you'll soar. You won't just survive, you'll thrive. You won't just endure, you'll overcome. That's why your energy levels have been fluctuating so wildly. One day you can barely climb the stairs. The next day you feel like you could run a marathon. Your body is learning to operate on 2 frequencies simultaneously, the natural and the supernatural. And soon, very soon, the supernatural will become your default setting. With every breath, heaven is rewriting your body. Isaiah 40:31 promises that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. But notice something profound. Eagles don't flap their wings to soar. They spread them wide and let the wind current carry them higher. You're learning to stop flapping, stop striving, stop fighting against the divine current that wants to lift you. The renovation isn't finished yet, beloved. God is still working, still rewiring, still preparing your physical frame for assignments that will require supernatural stamina. That's why some days feel like controlled chaos inside your body. Heaven's construction crew is working around the clock. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. But here's the question that should consume your thoughts. What is God preparing your rewired body to carry? What kind of divine assignment requires this level of biological reconstruction? What is so significant about what's coming that the Almighty Himself had to personally oversee the renovation of your earthly vessel? That secret will be revealed soon, chosen one. But first, you need to align your mouth with what heaven is already doing in your cells. Right now, wherever you are sitting in your living room, lying in your bed, walking down the street, I want you to whisper these words aloud. I am ready for what's coming. Don't just think it. Speak it. Let your vocal cords vibrate with faith. Let your breath carry the declaration into the atmosphere. I am ready for what's coming. Because ready or not, ready you are becoming. With every heartbeat, heaven is fine-tuning your frequency. With every breath, divine DNA is overriding human limitations. The question that will determine everything about your next chapter is this: will you partner with what God is doing in your body, Or will you resist the very reconstruction that's meant to liberate you? But let me ask you something that's going to cut deeper than you're prepared for. When was the last time you felt truly alive? Not just breathing, not just surviving another day, but alive with purpose burning in your chest like a furnace. When did that fire inside you start feeling like cold ashes? I'll tell you when. It was the day someone convinced you that your best years were behind you. The day the doctor handed you that prescription and said, "This is just part of getting older." The day your children stopped calling as often. The day you looked in the mirror and whispered, "I'm just waiting to die now." That's when the enemy thought he'd won. That's when hell celebrated, believing they'd successfully extinguished what God lit in you before you even drew your first breath. But here's what the devil didn't count on. Here's what your own mind hasn't grasped yet. The fire you thought had died in you, God is reigniting it right now, not next week, not after you feel better. Right now, as these words penetrate the deepest chambers of your heart. You think those aches in your bones are signs of decay. You think that restlessness keeping you up at night is anxiety. Dear chosen one, that's not deterioration you're feeling. That's activation. Your very skeleton is being rewired for supernatural assignments that require more than human strength. Listen to what the prophet Jeremiah declared when he tried to quit his calling. "But his word was in my heart as a burning fire shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay." Jeremiah 20:9. Did you catch that? The word of God was a fire shut up in his bones, not a gentle warmth. Fire. Consuming, powerful, unstoppable fire. That restlessness you've been feeling? That's not insomnia. That's the fire of God burning in your bones, trying to break out, demanding to be released. Your body isn't falling apart, it's being rebuilt from the inside out by divine flame. You know what your problem has been. You've been trying to put out the very fire God is trying to kindle. You've been taking medications to calm what heaven is trying to ignite. You've been seeking peace when God is trying to give you power. But I need to tell you something that's going to shock you. Every single night you've lain awake. Every moment you've felt that strange energy coursing through your veins. Every time your heart has raced for no medical reason that wasn't your body betraying you. That was your body responding to a frequency from another realm. The same God who appeared to Moses as a burning bush, who led Israel as a pillar of fire, who sent tongues of fire on the day of Pentecost, that same God is setting you ablaze right now. Not to destroy you, but to deploy you. Your bones are not brittle, they are blazing. Your joints aren't failing, they're being fortified with celestial fire. That pain you've been carrying isn't arthritis, it's the ache of divine assignment pressing against human limitations. Think about gold in the furnace. The goldsmith doesn't add heat to destroy the gold. He cranks up the temperature to burn away everything that isn't pure. And the hotter that furnace gets, the more radiant the gold becomes. The more intense the fire, the more valuable the final product. You've been in God's furnace for years, haven't you? The loss of your spouse that was fire. The rejection from your children that was heat. The financial struggles that was God turning up the temperature. The health battles that was the refining process. But what you thought was meant to break you was actually meant to make you. What felt like punishment was actually purification. And now, after all that refining, after all that burning away of everything that wasn't essential, now you're ready for what's coming. That fire in your chest isn't heartburn. It's the heartbeat of heaven synchronizing with your mortal pulse. That burning in your throat when you try to speak isn't acid reflux. It's prophetic fire demanding to be released through your voice. That heat in your hands isn't poor circulation. It's the anointing of God preparing to flow through your touch. The enemy has been whispering lies to you for years. You're too old. You're too tired. You're too broken. But God is whispering something different. He's saying, you're too valuable to waste. You're too anointed to quit. You're too close to breakthrough to back down now. Right now, at this very moment, there are assignments waiting for you that require exactly the fire you carry. There are people praying for breakthrough who need to encounter the flame that burns in your bones. There are situations that have been frozen in darkness for years, waiting for someone with your specific brand of holy fire to melt the ice. Your age isn't your limitation, it's your acceleration. Because the older you get, the less time you have to waste on what doesn't matter. The closer you get to eternity, the clearer your spiritual vision becomes. The fire in you isn't dimming, it's concentrating. It's becoming laser-focused, precision-guided, strategically targeted divine flame. If you can feel that fire stirring right now, if something deep in your bones is responding to these words, don't you dare try to suppress it. Don't take another pill to calm what God is trying to ignite. Don't seek peace when heaven is offering you power. Type it in the comments right now. The fire is alive in me. Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Just declare what your spirit already knows. Because when you acknowledge the fire, it stops being contained and starts being released. But here's what most people don't understand about divine fire, and this is what will determine whether you step into your calling or stay trapped in false comfort. Chosen one, I need you to do something right now that might feel uncomfortable. I want you to stand up and find the nearest mirror. Don't worry about your hair. Don't adjust your clothes. Don't fix anything. Just look. Really look. What do you see staring back at you? If you're like most people over 65, you probably see disappointment. Lines that tell stories of worry instead of wisdom. Eyes that seem dimmer than they once were. A reflection that whispers, your best days are behind you. But what if I told you that everything you think you're seeing is a lie? When you look in that mirror, you don't see wrinkles, you see prophecy. You don't see time, you see testimony. Those lines on your face aren't marks of decay, they're maps of faith, carved by decades of trusting God when everything around you was falling apart. That scar on your forehead from the accident in '92, that's not damage, that's evidence. Evidence that you survived what was meant to destroy you. Those laugh lines around your eyes, they're not signs of aging, they're proof of joy that refused to be extinguished even in your darkest hours. But here's what breaks my heart. The enemy has convinced an entire generation of God's warriors that their reflection is their sentence, that what they see in the mirror is their expiration date, that the vessel somehow determines the value of what's inside. Dear one, that's not just wrong, that's demonic. 2 Corinthians 3:18 declares something that will shatter every lie you've believed about your appearance. And we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into His image with ever-increasing glory, from one degree of glory to another. Did you catch that? Ever-increasing glory, not decreasing, not fading, increasing. Your reflection isn't diminishing, it's being transformed into the very image of Christ Himself. But why can't you see it? Because you're looking with natural eyes instead of spiritual ones. You're measuring your worth by society's standards instead of heaven's perspective. You're seeing through the lens of time instead of the lens of eternity. Let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. How many mornings have you avoided that mirror? How many times have you walked past your reflection and felt shame instead of strength? How many years have you apologized for taking up space in rooms where God intended you to command attention? That stops today. Your reflection is not aging, it is ascending. Every silver strand in your hair is a crown of glory earned through battles fought and victories won. Proverbs 16:31 confirms this. Gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained in the way of righteousness. You think you're looking at deterioration, but God sees demonstration. You see weakness, but heaven sees warrior. You see ending, but the Almighty sees eternal. That tremor in your hands, it's not frailty, it's the frequency of heaven adjusting your very nervous system to carry more of His presence. Those aches in your joints, they're not breakdown, they're breakthrough points where God is rewiring your physical frame for supernatural assignments. You've been programmed to see decline where God sees design, to see limitation where He sees liberation, to see sunset where He sees sunrise. But I need to tell you something urgent, something the enemy desperately doesn't want you to understand. The reason you feel uncomfortable looking at yourself isn't because you're getting older. It's because you're getting more dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Every year you've lived has been a year of spiritual boot camp. Every trial has been divine training. Every heartbreak has been holy preparation. And now, at this exact moment in history, when the world needs authentic voices more than ever, you're standing at the mirror questioning whether you still matter. You matter more now than you ever have. That face looking back at you has prayed through decades of impossible situations. Those hands have held crying grandchildren and comforted broken hearts. Those eyes have seen God's faithfulness when everyone else saw failure. That mouth has spoken life when death was knocking at your door. You are not a relic. You are a revelation. The world looks at your age and sees expiration, but God looks at your experience and sees activation. They see your past, but He sees your purpose. They see your years, but He sees your yielding. Your reflection isn't a reminder of what you've lost, it's a preview of what you're about to gain. Not in some distant heaven, but right here, right now, in this season of your life that the world mistakenly calls your twilight. But here's what's happening that you can't see with natural eyes. Every time you look in that mirror with disappointment, you're agreeing with the enemy's assessment instead of God's declaration. Every time you see limitation instead of liberation, you're empowering the very lies that have kept you bound. But when you begin to see yourself through heaven's eyes, when you recognize that your reflection is actually a prophetic glimpse of glory being unveiled, everything changes. Your posture shifts. Your voice carries new authority. Your presence commands the room because you finally understand who's been looking back at you all along. You're not seeing an old person trying to hold on. You're seeing an eternal being breaking through. But why is this revelation coming now? Why is God unveiling this truth at this exact moment in your life and in human history? Because what's about to unfold in the world requires vessels who have been tested by time and proven by pressure. The mirror isn't showing you your ending, it's revealing your beginning. And what you're about to step into will make everything you've been through worth it. But first, you need to understand exactly why the world must see your glow at this precise moment in history. But here's what's going to shake you to your core, chosen one. This rewiring isn't happening so you can feel better about yourself. This isn't some cosmic spa treatment for your golden years. What God is doing to your body right now is strategic. It's surgical. It's preparation for war. You see, while the world has been telling you to slow down, sit down, step aside, and make room for the younger generation, heaven has been saying something completely different. Heaven has been saying, "Not yet. I'm not done with you yet. In fact, I'm just getting started." Why do you think the attacks on your health intensified right when you started seeking God more deeply? Why do you think the physical breakdowns began accelerating the moment you started praying with more desperation? It wasn't coincidence. It was reconnaissance. The enemy saw what God was preparing to unleash through you, and he panicked. But here's the shocking truth that will redefine everything you thought you knew about your purpose. God is raising chosen ones from your generation for this generation's battles. Not the battles of 50 years ago, not the struggles you've already fought, the battles that are coming, the darkness that's approaching, the spiritual warfare that requires seasoned warriors who've already been tested in the furnace of real life. Your rewired body isn't just about feeling younger. Your renewed strength isn't about vanity. This is about capacity, divine capacity. You are being transformed into a vessel of courage when fear rules the earth, a carrier of joy when depression has become an epidemic, an instrument of intercession when prayer has gone silent in too many homes, a channel of healing when brokenness has become normal. Listen to me carefully. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future." But here's the revelation that's been hidden in plain sight. Those plans to prosper you aren't about your comfort, they're about your commission. God isn't restoring you to retire. He's rebuilding you to deploy. Think about this. Why would the creator of the universe spend supernatural energy rewiring your joints if all you were meant to do was sit in a rocking chair? Why would he restore your energy if your only assignment was to watch game shows? Why would he sharpen your mind and strengthen your heart if your greatest days were supposed to be behind you? The answer will shock you. Because the greatest spiritual awakening in human history is about to break loose, and God needs generals who've been through hell and came out praising him. He needs intercessors who've wrestled with doubt and emerged with unshakable faith. He needs voices that carry the authority of experience, not just the enthusiasm of youth. You think you're too old? Moses was 80 when God called him to deliver a nation. You think you're too tired? Caleb was 85 when he said, "Give me this mountain." You think you're too broken? David wrote his most powerful psalms in caves while running for his life. But here's where it gets controversial, and you need to brace yourself for this truth. You are not being restored to sit quietly in the back pew. You are not being renewed to fade gracefully into the background. You are being rewired to roar prophetically into a broken world that has forgotten what the voice of God sounds like. The young generation is drowning in confusion, suffocating in anxiety, paralyzed by fear. They're looking for answers on social media, seeking wisdom from celebrities, finding hope in political promises. But what they really need is to see someone who's walked through the valley of the shadow of death and lived to tell about it. They need to witness faith that's been tested by fire and emerged as gold. That's why your arthritis is loosening. That's why your memory is sharpening. That's why your voice is getting stronger. That's why people keep saying you look different, sound different, carry yourself differently. You're not just healing. You're being weaponized for love. You're being armed with hope. You're being loaded with life. The enemy thought he had neutralized your generation. He convinced you that your time was over, that your voice didn't matter, that your dreams were too late. He wanted you to believe that wisdom comes with weakness, that age comes with irrelevance, that your best contributions were in your rearview mirror. But God is about to prove him wrong in the most spectacular way possible. Your body is being rewired because your spirit is being redeployed. Your strength is being renewed because your assignment is being revealed. Your youth is being restored because your mission demands it. This isn't about looking good in family photos. This is about looking the devil in the eye and declaring that God's people don't go quietly into the night. This is about standing up in a world that's sitting down, speaking up in a generation that's gone silent, showing up when others are checking out. Right now, at this very moment, say it out loud wherever you are. Don't whisper it, don't think it. Declare it with the authority of someone who's been chosen for such a time as this. I am not retired, I am rewired. Say it until your bones believe it. Say it until your blood carries it. Say it until the atmosphere around you shifts and heaven takes notice and hell starts trembling. Because, chosen one, what's happening in your body is just the beginning. God is about to show you what he can do through someone who refuses to act their age when eternity is at stake. But here's what nobody warned you about. Chosen one. The moment God begins rewiring your body for divine assignment, hell declares war. You thought the strange aches were from the rewiring process itself. You thought the exhaustion was your body adjusting to higher frequencies. But what if I told you that every single discomfort, every moment of resistance, every night you've tossed and turned, feeling like your own skin doesn't fit? What if all of that is spiritual warfare against the vessel you're becoming? Listen to me carefully. When Noah built the ark, do you think the storm came after he finished? No, beloved. The storm came the moment he picked up the first piece of wood. The moment heaven declared his assignment, hell mobilized its forces. Because the enemy knew what that boat would carry through the flood, the future of humanity itself. You are that ark now, and the storm is coming. Your family is going to question you. They're going to look at you with confusion in their eyes and ask, "What's gotten into you lately?" Your energy will be different. Your voice will carry new authority. The way you walk, the way you pray, the way you speak truth into situations, it's all changing. And those closest to you, they're going to resist it first. Why? Because when God rewires one person in a family, it exposes the spiritual poverty in everyone else. Your newfound vitality will make their compromise uncomfortable. Your peace will disturb their chaos. Your faith will convict their fear. But that's not the worst part. Your own body is going to fight you. Right now, as heaven downloads new strength into your cells, your flesh is going to rebel. You'll have days when you feel more tired than ever before, mornings when every joint screams in protest, nights when your heart races for no medical reason. That's not sickness, dear one. That's resistance. Your old programming fighting against your new assignment. Romans 8:11 declares, "But if the spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwelleth in you." Quicken means to make alive. But here's what they don't tell you: when dead things come back to life, there's always a struggle. Lazarus didn't just walk out of that tomb refreshed and ready. He stumbled out, still wrapped in grave clothes, squinting at light his eyes hadn't seen in 4 days. The resurrection was real, but the adjustment was brutal. That's where you are right now. The enemy is throwing everything he has at your physical body because he knows what's coming. He sees the assignment God is preparing you for, and he's terrified. So he's attacking your energy, your sleep, your appetite, your comfort, anything to make you believe this rewiring process isn't real. But here's what Satan didn't count on. Here's what hell never understood about God's chosen ones. We were built for the storm. When Jesus was in that boat with his disciples and the waves were crashing over the sides, when the wind was howling like demons and the water was pouring in, what did he do? Mark 4:39 tells us, "And he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm." He didn't panic. He didn't bail water. He didn't question why the storm came. He stood up in the middle of the chaos and commanded it to stop. That's the same power flowing through your rewired body right now. But here's the part that will shatter every excuse you've been making. The disciples in that boat, they were terrified. They woke Jesus up screaming, "Master, don't you care that we're about to die?" But Jesus looked at them with disappointment and asked, "Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith?" Why would he be disappointed? Because they had been with him. They had seen the miracles. They knew who was in the boat with them. Yet when the storm hit, they forgot their identity. Don't you dare make the same mistake. The storm battering your physical body right now, the unexplained pains, the sudden weakness, the nights when sleep won't come, that's not proof that God's rewiring process failed. That's proof that it's working. The enemy only attacks what threatens him. Your grandmother's arthritis that's trying to creep back into your joints. That's the old programming trying to reassert itself. Your chronic fatigue that's attempting a comeback. That's hell trying to convince you that divine energy isn't real. Those memory lapses that make you question if you're losing your mind. That's spiritual interference with heaven's upgrade to your mental capacity. But you are not the old ship that gets tossed by every wave. You are Noah's Ark, built by divine specification to carry precious cargo through the flood. The same God who shut Noah and his family safely inside is the same God who has sealed you for protection. The storm is not proof of failure. The storm is proof you've been rewired to walk on waves. Every attack on your physical body is confirmation that something powerful is being installed. Every moment of discomfort is evidence that your old limitations are being demolished. Every night of restless sleep is heaven working overtime to complete your transformation. You think Peter walked on water because the sea was calm? No. He walked on water because the storm was raging. The waves didn't stop him, they supported him. The wind didn't defeat him, it carried him forward. That's your calling now. Not to avoid the storm, but to master it. If you can feel that truth settling into your bones right now, if something in your spirit is rising up and declaring war against every limitation the enemy has tried to place on your body, then type these words in the comments. I will not sink. I am built for this storm. Because what's coming next will prove that every ache was worth it, every sleepless night was preparation, and every moment of resistance was just the old you, making room for the unstoppable you that's about to emerge. Chosen one, I need you to stop counting years and start counting glory. Because what's happening to you right now transcends every calendar, every clock, every lie this world has whispered about your expiration date. Look at me. Time is not your ruler. Heaven has crowned you with light. You've spent decades believing that time was your enemy, haven't you? Watching the mirror betray you, feeling your body slow down, accepting that your best days were behind you. But what if I told you that every wrinkle you've earned, every gray hair you carry, every moment you thought you were aging, you were actually being crowned? Psalm 8-5 declares with thunderous authority, you have crowned them with glory and honor, not crowned them for a season, not crowned them until retirement, crowned them, period, present tense, permanent status. That crown isn't made of gold or jewels, beloved. It's made of light, divine light, the same light that spoke galaxies into existence, the same light that parted seas and raised the dead. And right now, this very second, that light is not dimming in you, it's blazing brighter than it ever has. Do you feel it? That warmth spreading through your chest as these words hit your spirit. That's not emotion, that's recognition. Your soul remembering what your mind forgot. You are not a candle flickering in the wind. You are a lighthouse built to withstand every storm. But here's what breaks my heart. Here's what keeps me awake at night, praying for people just like you. You've been living like time owns you. You've been bowing to birthdays. You've been surrendering to statistics about what people your age should and shouldn't do. You've been letting calendars write your obituary while you're still breathing. Stop it. Right now. Stop it. The God who created time is not limited by time, and neither are you. Because you don't just carry his image, you carry his essence. You don't just believe in eternity. Eternity lives in your DNA. Think about Moses. At 80 years old, when the world would have put him in a nursing home, God put a staff in his hand and said, "Now we begin." Think about Sarah. At 90, when her body should have been done creating life, heaven opened her womb and made her the mother of nations. Think about Anna, the prophetess. 84 years old, and instead of fading into the background, she became the first to proclaim the Messiah to Jerusalem. Your age isn't your limitation, it's your coronation. But I need you to see something that will shatter every lie you've believed about yourself. Close your eyes for just a moment. Picture yourself not as the world sees you, but as heaven sees you. You're not stooped with age, you're standing in authority. Your hair isn't grey with defeat, it's silver with wisdom. Your hands aren't wrinkled with wear, they're marked with miracles you've witnessed, prayers you've prayed, lives you've touched. You are glowing, literally glowing. Not with makeup or filters or youth potions. You are radiating the very presence of the Almighty God. Your skin carries starlight, your eyes hold galaxies. Your breath carries the wind of the Spirit. This is not fantasy. This is your reality breaking through the veil of what the world convinced you to see. And here's the mystery that will blow your mind. Every person you encounter is subconsciously drawn to that light. They can't explain it, they can't bottle it, they can't fake it, but they feel it. That's why conversations change when you walk into a room. That's why strangers feel safe telling you their secrets. That's why children run to your arms and animals calm in your presence. You carry the frequency of heaven itself. But the enemy knows this. He's known it all along. That's why he's worked overtime to convince you that your best years are behind you. That's why he whispers about retirement and rest and stepping aside. Because he knows that when you fully realize who you are, when you step into the fullness of this crown of light, you become the most dangerous force he's ever faced. A senior saint who knows their identity is hell's worst nightmare. You're not just aging gracefully, beloved. You're aging powerfully. Every year adds authority. Every experience adds anointing. Every trial adds testimony. You're not running out of time, you're running into your greatest hour. And this light in you, it's not fading, it is contagious. You are not ending, you are multiplying. Every life you touch carries a spark of what you carry. Every person you pray for receives an impartation of your light. Every room you enter shifts its atmosphere because eternity just walked through the door. Your grandchildren don't just see grandma or grandpa when they look at you. They see a portal to the supernatural. Your community doesn't just see a senior citizen. They see someone who carries decades of God's faithfulness written in their very presence. This is why your body has been changing. This is why you felt that strange energy. This is why people keep telling you there's something different about you. The crown is becoming visible. The light is breaking through. The glory that's always been yours is finally being unveiled. But there's one more mystery. One final seal that will complete this divine transformation. One revelation that will lock in everything heaven has been downloading into your spirit. And what I'm about to share with you next will explain why this moment right now is the most crucial moment of your entire life. Are you ready to discover the final piece of what God is rewiring in your body for what's coming? Chosen one, as we reach the end of this sacred journey together, I need you to carry 3 eternal truths with you, like treasures in your heart. First, what's happening in your body right now is not random, it's restoration. God is not just healing you, He's rewiring you. Every cell, every fiber, every breath you take is being recalibrated to carry the frequency of heaven. You are not declining. You are being divinely upgraded for what's coming next. Second, time is not your master. The crown of light that heaven has placed upon you transcends every calendar, every birthday, every lie the world has whispered about your limitations. You don't just carry God's image, you carry His timeless essence. Your best days aren't behind you, they're breaking forth right now. Third, this transformation isn't just for you, it's through you. Every person who encounters your renewed strength, your unexplainable peace, your supernatural vitality, will witness living proof that God still moves miracles through surrendered vessels. You are not just being blessed, you are becoming a blessing. But beloved, I need you to know something deeper than knowledge, something that settles in your bones. You are not walking this path alone. The same God who spoke light into darkness is speaking life into your mortal frame right now. He hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't abandoned you. In fact, He's been preparing this moment of divine restoration your entire life. And beyond God's presence, you have a family right here. Thousands of chosen ones just like you, feeling the same stirring, experiencing the same renewal, walking the same journey from limitation to liberation. We see you. We understand you. We will pray with you. Let me ask you this question, and let it settle deep in your spirit. If God is rewiring your very DNA for His purposes, if He's crowning you with light that never fades, if He's preparing you for assignments that require supernatural strength, what will you do with this revelation? How will you step into tomorrow, knowing that your body is no longer bound by natural laws, but aligned with heavenly purposes? Before you leave this sacred space, I want to place my hand on your shoulder through these words and pray over you with the authority of someone who has seen God move mountains in impossible situations. Heavenly Father, I place my hand upon every precious soul who has walked through this message with us tonight. Lord, you see them, not just their struggles but their strength, not just their age but their anointing, not just their limitations but their limitless potential in you. Father, I pray that what you've begun in their bodies tonight will continue until completion. Let every cell align with your original design. Let every heartbeat drum with heaven's rhythm. Let every breath carry the wind of your spirit. Where they've felt weakness, flood them with your strength. Where they've seen wrinkles, show them wisdom. Where they've counted years, Remind them they're crowned with glory. Lord, remove every lie that says they're too old, too tired, too late. Break every limitation that the world has placed upon them. Silence every voice that speaks decline, and activate every promise that declares divine renewal. Give them dreams that defy their age. Give them strength that shocks their doctors. Give them energy that confounds their families. Give them purpose that ignites their spirits. Let them walk into tomorrow knowing they carry eternity in earthly vessels. And Father, use this transformation as a testimony. Let their renewed vigor become hope for the hopeless. Let their supernatural peace comfort the anxious. Let their unexplainable joy heal the brokenhearted. Make them living proof that you still do impossible things through willing hearts. Bless their families, their finances, their health, their relationships. Open doors they didn't know existed. Provide resources they haven't imagined. Send divine connections that accelerate their purpose. Let your favor go before them and your glory follow behind them. In Jesus' mighty name, the name above every name, the name that makes demons flee and diseases heal, I seal this prayer over their lives. Let it be done according to your perfect will. Amen. Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, share what you felt during this message. Did something shift in your body? Did you sense heaven moving? Are you ready to embrace this divine rewiring? Don't just watch, participate. Your testimony might be exactly what someone else needs to believe their own miracle is possible. Type I receive divine restoration if you're ready to walk in this new reality. Share this message with someone who needs to know that God is still in the business of supernatural renewal. Your obedience to share could be the catalyst for their breakthrough. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to a community where faith meets flesh, where spirit touches bone, where the impossible becomes inevitable. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Every week, we're diving deeper into the mysteries of divine transformation, and you don't want to miss what God is revealing next. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. Thank you for opening your heart to receive what heaven wanted to pour into you tonight. Thank you for believing that your story isn't over. It's just beginning to make sense. Until we meet again, walk in the authority of your renewal. You are not just surviving your golden years, you are thriving in your glory years. You are not just aging, you are advancing into divine purpose. God bless you, chosen one. Your rewiring is complete. Now go and let the world witness what happens when heaven touches earth through a willing vessel.